Hey guys, and welcome back to the 1v1 podcast. I am your host Vlhadus, and today I have a very special guest. He is called the MMO Ronin. What is going on, man?
Not much. Just chilling for the rest of the night.
Same. This is the busiest time for me because fourth quarter, at least in my job, is the most hectic time of the year. So from this day forward, I will be slowly tearing my hair out. So YouTube and Talking Ashes is kind of like my alleviator, my kind of zen place. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's kind of surprising, but I'll take it.
Hey, dude, not
I'll
at all.
take the invite.
I say in every 1v1, I will talk to anybody that is talking Ashes, anyone that's covering Ashes, because at the end of the day, I know there are so many people that are excited for this game. And I always just love hearing different people's perspective and MMO backgrounds. And I think that's where a lot of the times, especially when you do like a 6-minute video or a 7-minute video or whatever, like many people sometimes don't know where you're coming from with this knowledge, you know, what kind of MMOs you played, like, you know, where as an MMO gamer have you been, like what you know, major MMOs have you played and stuff like that. So I try to do these 1v1s to really get to know the creators, right? You know, to get a little behind the scenes, a little, you know, more in depth of their Ashes takes on certain systems, what they like about it, what they don't like about it, how they feel about Intrepid in general, monthly live streams, you know, whole shebang. But, you know, first things I always like to start off is, of course, about you. So, Ronin. Can I call you Ronin? Or what can I call you?
No, sure, that's fine.
Ronin? Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, so, like, how long have you been playing in the MMO genre? Like, what MMOs, like, have you played?
I think about that every once in a while because I always want to make one of those videos of, you know, how you list off all the MMOs you kind of played.
Right.
But it's always like, it's never like whole MMOs. It's like all the way to end game. It's mostly like to pieces. So I want to say like my first taste of an MMO was way back in the day on like AOL when they gave out the Ultima Online free.
Oh man, yes.
A chance to really play that. I didn't really know what was going on. I kind of ran around the town and then I didn't play that. And then I was in those text-based ones for a little bit, like the MUDs, I think they're called.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, MUDs.
And then fast forward later down the line, World of Warcraft comes out because I couldn't afford, you know, the EverQuest and stuff. So now I'm older. World of Warcraft comes out. Eventually I was able to jump in that like right at the tail end of
Burning Crusade?
Burning Crusade, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right at the tail end of Burning Crusade, right when everybody was making Death Knights at the beginning,
Yeah.
like during that period in between.
Right.
So that's probably the one I played the most of, I think, as far as like getting the end game and doing a lot of like the raids and things like that. Before most of the other ones, it's been like, you know, there's a point in period where I couldn't afford to pay for World of Warcraft anymore. So it's a lot of the free to play MMOs. And all those were huge grind sessions like Archlord and Cabal and all that stuff. So they only got to like level 35 because at that point is when you didn't have any more quests and all you could do was like kill mobs to get levels. So it was like, all right, so what's next? Like, you know, I'm not making any progress in this game. I'm just killing this one thing in this area all day. I'm good. What's next? So
no, for sure. I mean, golly, especially back then in the early 2000s, the grind was real. Like, dude, people don't even know the grind unless they play a game from back then. So
I played all of those that were free to play in that area. So it's like a whole list. I played all of them.
Jeez.
All of them. And all up to level 35. So all up to level 35.
All until the end of the free trial, and then I was like, all right, play the next one.
Well, you know, they were free to play anyway, so you got a good feel of like how the game played. Like Archlord, I thought was a really cool concept. With how, I don't know if you ever played Archlord.
I've never played Archlord.
I got like a manga series and everything. Archlord.
Is it on Steam or no?
It's not even out anymore. I don't think you played it.
Oh,
okay. They came out with Archlord, then they brought it back out like Archlord X, I think. But it's like, you know, your standard MMO where you have all your classes and stuff. And then, but the draw to it was that there is a castle, like a main castle, and like one player could be the Archlord of the whole server. Right. So that means they can control the weather. They get like this cool dragon that they can fly around on and hail meteor storms from the sky and all that stuff. Right.
Oh, damn.
And like and there's a time period where there'll be like a time where another guild could attack the castle and they can vie for that, whoever the guild leader is, whoever they want to put to be
Right.
the archlord could be the archlord. So that like a real cool concept. It's just that grind in that level 35 section was pretty hardcore.
Oh yeah. And what
So
MMOs are you playing now? Just curious. Are you
now
playing?
I've been messing around with New World, waiting for Dragonflight to come out, and just whatever else is popping off here and there. Like if something comes out, I'll play it. But like I played some Lost Ark and I played some Elyon when it dropped, and Swords of Legends Online. Yes, it. So like whatever pops off, I'm playing.
Got
The
you.
MMO, so I'm there checking it out, seeing what's about.
And what about you say you're playing New World right now? Like, do you feel like the expansion is actually doing some really good stuff, or you feel like it didn't go far enough? Like, I'm just curious, just where you sit when it comes to New World.
I don't know if New World, if I would consider that like it's a big patch update. I don't personally call it like an expansion though. So I think the new player level experience is really good. It's probably what they should have had when the game first launched. But like everybody said, it needed a couple of years anyway before it came out. So that's probably where it's at now. It's probably where it should have been where it launched at, I think, as
Right.
far as like where that goes. So I think that part is pretty good. I didn't run around too much in Brimstone Sands, the new area, but from what I'm hearing, it seems like it's pretty good. They're putting in some more solo instances and stuff like that people can do if they want to run around by themselves for a little bit, as well as adding, they're kind of balance it out between the players that like to play alone and do stuff by themselves versus people that always want to be in a group. So
Got you.
it seems like it'll be on the right path, but I think it still is going to take that next cycle before really, at least the next big moment patch, because they do it in like quarterlies, right? So the next big quarterly part, I think, is when it's going to probably come together. I think.
I think a lot. I mean, with MMOs specifically, right? There's this idea of what the core of the game should be. I know there's this whole thing with Josh Hazen talking about core game design and everything.
I watched your video on that before we started this. So.
Yeah,
I watched his video too, and I watched Dark's video.
I know it's my whole thing was that with him, I love Josh Hazen. I think he's a great MMO content creator. I just feel because he is kind of an authority on MMOs, especially towards like the casual people. People watch him because he has played a lot of MMOs. And the way he was just talking was just like, guys, I know what I'm talking about. Like, let me tell you guys. And I just thought it was a little bit disingenuous in how he expects, because we can all agree that New World, when it launched, had its core game design intact. And if that's what he's referring to, like, who would want that? Like, as MMO players, we're always looking for like more because we deserve better. We've been literally handed to us the minimum for so long. And I think that's why a lot of people are looking forward to Ashes of Creation, because it seems like the core of that game is really large. And a lot of people just feel like, well, you don't need this system, you don't need that system. And I'm like, but little do they know how interconnected everything is with each other, that you can't just X out an entire system. Like Ashes literally needs a lot of its systems to function together. So
it was kind of interesting. Like I understand where it's coming from though, because I think there's a lot of smaller things like freeholds could probably wait a little bit longer until after the game launched before they added in, because they still have the in-town housing,
Right.
So there's some things they could kind of mess around with and be like, all right, this next patch is, we're adding freehold system into while the game comes out afterwards.
Right.
But I think it's interesting I hear everybody talk about the feature creep of it. But you're talking about the core gameplay system of the game, and I think I'm not what is the name of this game? I'm gonna call it Archlord again. Arc Age. I think that came with like all of the features and stuff in there. You had your house building, you had to go collect lumbers to build housing, and it had the naval combat system. All that stuff was already built in the game when it launched. So it's not like games can't have the a full feature set and add on to it. I know, and one of my concerns for Ash's video, which is why I kind of understand where he was coming from a little bit, is like, because we're seeing all of this stuff up front, it's hard to imagine what would come after, after the game has been out, what could come after everything that we have in the game now. It's kind of hard to see that.
Right.
So I think that's where you can come from, where, they're throwing everything at us now, what's going to be there in the future type of mentality. But.
No, for sure. And I think Ashes is a little bit more, I think, of a special case, because if we can actually get, all of these systems the way, it's planned to be given to us, I think it could really allow them to have an expansion with not systems. I think at like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy does this
Right.
really well, where there isn't a system with it, with Shadowbringers or with Endwalker. It's literally just the next part of the story.
Content.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just
More
content.
content.
You know what I mean? Like, I think, me as a WoW Andy, like, I think I've gotten so conditioned to new systems and new endgame loops for you to do. And it's like, but that's usually the kind of things that tend to make that gameplay just really repetitive, because they focus you on those systems, especially because they're new. So
Right.
they drive you to them. And I feel like if you have a really good core design, you're already doing all of this stuff already. Why are we going to eliminate 90% of all that content just so you can do the 10% that we made for this one little expansion? It makes no sense.
Right.
Like, we need to reconceptualize our ideas of what an expansion is, because we want to expand the core game, not isolate the core game and put you in a 10% bucket of an expansion. And I think that's what
Right.
we've just been used to.
You know, when did I stop playing WoW? I stopped playing.
Dude, I stopped playing so many freaking times, man. You know how many times I quit and came back? Jesus.
I stopped when I got the collectors of mop, but I stopped when mop dropped because it was kind of like, it wasn't there in the beginning, but after the patches came, when I jumped back in, it was a lot better. Then I stopped somewhere in Warlords. I liked it. I just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, no.
And then
it was a long
Legion
time.
made me mad. Legion is where I got mad. Everybody likes Legion, but Legion is where I was like, okay, I'm done with whatever I got right now.
What, was
And
it
that
the random
because
legendaries?
it wasn't the random. It was way before that. It was even before the game came out, but I was going to give it a try anyway, because when they mentioned artifact weapons, that was the part where everything fell down. That's the beginning of power system that everybody hates so much, is the artifact weapons.
Right.
And one of my favorite things in World of Warcraft was the variety of weapons that were in the game. So putting in artifact weapons where everybody's walking around with the same weapon, I was like, this is stupid. Why would you do this? And sure enough, I come back. So I'm playing the game, I'm fine with it. And it gets to a point where now I have to do mythic key dungeons to proceed in the story quest that nobody wants to do, because you spend an hour in there and somebody can't do it, and then somebody drops and now you can't find nobody. So now I can't progress even further into the main quest line because I can't find people to do these dungeons with. And I'm like, all right, I'm just done with this game. But when I came back to play Shadowlands, and I'm like, all right, I just stopped where I left off at. I find out that my artifact power is all gone and my weapon is useless and doesn't work. And I haven't done anything that, I haven't done any of that quest line. So trying to come back in Legion and do any of that is useless because my weapon is just trash. So I can't do any of that stuff. So that's where I was like, you know what?
Well, and I think that's been the issue, is the fact that World of Warcraft has been narrowing when it comes to expansions. They haven't been broadening the core game of World of Warcraft. They've been literally isolating people into the expansions, and just literally everything else, all 90% of it, is all ancillary fluff. It's meaningless. And
meanwhile, trying to speed you. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
meanwhile, trying to speed you through everything. They're speeding you from beginning, so you don't have those same experiences that you did. When you first created your character in their new starting zone. Now you're just like, you want to be level 80 now,
right? You know what I mean?
From the starting island, you want to be level 80 now.
It's all about the convenience, right? It's all about, the real game doesn't start until you hit our current expansion, and I think that is a huge problem. And I think Final Fantasy 14 I think does this so well, in the sense of where the game literally expands because it's all part of its central story. Every part, from the core to the expansions, all leads you into the story. So you're not really rushing, in a sense. You're just wanting to hear the whole story. And for me as an anime guy, I love it, because it doesn't matter that I'm stuck in Stormblood or whatever, because it's all relevant still. I need to hear that story in order for me to understand Shadowbringers. It's the same thing. It's like, who would watch an anime, a brand new one that you've never seen, at season 4? You're going to watch season 1 through 3 first. Do you know what I mean? You're not just going to skip to season 4. You know what I mean? Well, unless it's like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or something like that. But like that's
No,
like
you gotta watch that from the beginning.
no,
I
for
want to say
sure.
like One Piece. One Piece, if you didn't catch it from the beginning, I feel like it's okay to just jump in the middle at some point in time. Like you're gonna sit through like 1,000 episodes of One Piece. Just jump in like 777. It's all right. You get
No,
it.
I know,
You
right?
figure
Because
it out as it goes along.
I mean, if you're on episode 971, like I think yes, you probably should just jump in here and just get a TLDR from episode 1 to 500. But I'm just talking more in common that I feel like expansions have really screwed up my brain here, because I feel like what Ashes is probably going to do, same what Final Fantasy is going to do, is when they do expand the game, it's exactly what they are going to do. They're going to keep the core game loop intact and expand upon it. Like, and I think
Right.
that is the most important thing. And even people like Asmongold advocates for like, why are all the old raids completely irrelevant? Like you can literally go from 1 to 50 and then just do what, 2 raids or 3. Like if you're on the 3rd patch of a major expansion, you're basically just doing that raid. The other 2 raids,
one raid.
yeah, you're doing
one raid.
one raid over and over and over again. And it's just so stupid. And again, you know, there are other MMOs that do this so much better. And I just feel like, again, as MMO players, we deserve better. We deserve more, especially to a games as a service. We're spending like $15 every month for these MMOs, if not box price. And then
somebody sits down and
yeah, like it's just
adds it up. You're like,
it's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of
what was
money.
that? Hold on. We're looking at WoW, right? How long has that been out? About 10, 11 years?
Oh, dude,
12
no,
years?
like it's been out for 17, because 2004.
17 years, really?
Yeah, 2004 when it released. So, no, man. Oh my God, has it been 20? No, not 20 years. 17 years? I think it's been 17 years. Going on 18? I'm bad at math.
I know, let me see.
I suck. Anybody a birthday in
So-
chat that's 2004? I'm just joking.
What I'm saying is like, what is it? $3,000 you spent over the course of the 10 years in the one game that maybe you've played all the time, but you still stay subscribed to it and you stop playing because you figure you just jump back in at some point in time, so you never ended the subscription.
Dude, story of my
So you're
life.
just kind of like throwing money in there.
Bro, like you have no idea how much I'm looking forward to Ashes. Like I just want to stop playing WoW and really just devote my time into a game that respects my time. Like I'm ready to literally leave all of my 15 years of Warcraft completely behind and literally just go on to new pastures. And I feel like with Ashes, the reason why I'm looking forward to this game is because it's bringing back a sense of community that's been lost. A lot of MMOs are what I call single player MMOs, and there isn't the need of people. You can, like New World, perfect example. You don't need other people for professions because you yourself can be every single profession and max it out.
Right.
You can be very self-efficient. Lost Ark is the same way. Final Fantasy 14 is also the same way. They have they create communities in different ways. But
Right.
I feel like with Ashes, we're going to get back to what the classic version of MMOs felt like, where you knew people on your server, you knew them for specific purposes. Like, oh my God, there's that awesome tank that I know, like he's one of the best tanks on the server. Like you just pass him by the auction house or whatever, or he's like
Right.
the best, engineer that I've ever seen. He has all the really good patterns. He sells them at good prices. Super nice dude. Like that's what it was like back then. Like you just
And
knew
then you
people.
You have the story of the guy that snuck into a guild as the alt and stole all the gold and transferred it to his old guild and
Oh,
caused
dude.
a world server. And
Bro, there was a reason why there was blacklists back in the day, dude. Like, I'm serious, dude. I remember this whole drama back in Altar of Storms on like in 2007, 2008, where this guy, like, they were literally lambasting him in trade chat. They said, hey, just letting you guys know, I forgot what his name was, so I'll just say like Mage, right? Mage, the guy that's been blacklisted, he changed his character's name to this, and it's Hunter. And I know him. This is like for real. So you all gotta blacklist his new name because he'll be trying to enter in your all's guilds. And people were just like, throwing him down the freaking rabbit hole, man. It was freaking disgusting. And again, most of the time, if you were a douchebag back then, even if you, sometimes you could change your name and, you know, maybe it would work. But most of the time,
Right.
you just would be better just transferring servers and going somewhere else. Like, you just ruined your whole reputation on that server. And I like that, man. I love the fact that you're actually held accountable. Like, there's not many times in current MMOs where a person can literally be held accountable for their actions. And I just think I like that kind of Wild Wild West policing. I think it's really good.
Yeah, you got, what was the name? Was it Redbeard? Somebody
Yeah,
got
Captain
on there?
Redbeard.
Yeah, they're talking about having the guild of
Oh yeah.
mercenaries.
Yep.
The guild of mercenaries going
Suspect.
out to get people. Yeah.
There's gonna be guilds like that, man. They're gonna be all out to get people. Hired guns. It's gonna be great.
My ideal player is probably more of the harder version because I probably wouldn't join any guilds.
Really?
Out there lonely. That lone wanderer guy out there.
The lone wolf.
That lone Ronin. That lone Ronin.
The last MMO Ronin.
Wandering the
You'll be
the
like
woods.
Ninja Scroll, just like there chilling by yourself, just going from town to
Right.
town. No, I mean, honestly, like,
Exactly.
like I was gonna ask, like, when it comes to MMOs specifically, like, what do you like to do in them? Like, are you more of a profession guy? Are you more of a PvP guy? Are you a
I think it
raider?
depends on the MMO, really.
Okay.
You know, it depends on what the community is like, what the system, the combat is like.
Right.
Like in ESO, which I
Mhm.
need to jump back in because I've never completed that game or completed any of the storylines. I just like to go around and do the quest. I like the story. I like to, you know,
Right.
mess around with people in town or just be goofy and run around like that. I like the atmosphere, I guess. It's kind of the
Okay,
same with
okay.
New World. I just kind of like to run around. Maybe I'll chop down some trees. Maybe I'll do the chest run with everybody. But it's not like I'm curious about like the main story of the game, but I'm not like in a big hurry to like jump into like any guild. Well, I'm in the guild. It's another content creator for the game, but I'm not like in a big hurry to like run and join up with anything or do anything big like that or look for dungeons. I haven't done any of the dungeons in the game yet, so
Wow.
it
And
just
how?
depends on the game. In Warcraft and like Final Fantasy 14, and I do all the raids. You know what I'm saying? I've done a couple of not the high ends like the savage tiers or extremes like that.
Mhm.
But you know, I jump in, I do the raids when I play it, or I've done the professions, and I think I got not all of my professions. I had them all up to like whatever 70 at some point in time. So I do all that stuff because they make it more engaging. Like, you know, the professions have their own quest lines and stuff like that you can do. So
Mhm.
it just depends. Just depends. Warcraft, I did the raids when I was playing Warcraft. I did all those raids.
Right.
So
So, I'm guessing, just what are you looking forward to when it comes to Ashes of Creation? Like, are you just looking for the experience?
Ashes of Creation, one thing that interests me about Ashes of Creation, and I want to go into like how I found it first, right? So
Go for it, man.
playing Final Fantasy with my wife. So I got her into that. And at some point in time, like when she was new to the game, she was like, I wanted to play a game where you can make like the decisions you make in the game actually like affect the world or whatever.
Right.
You know, so I was like, kind of look and see if there are any games coming out like that. So and the Kickstarter popped up. There's 2 games that popped up. One didn't really work out too well. Chronicles of Illyria.
Oh
where,
my
you
God,
know,
no!
I didn't buy into any of the Kickstarters, but no, I saw it because it was
Right.
like at the end of the Kickstarter or whatever.
Right.
It sounded kind of weird to me, but it was one of the games where supposedly like what you do matters in the game. So that's one that popped up, and the other one was Ashes of Creation.
Right.
Both, you know, was past that. So from there, I saw like the node system and like the idea of like where every server could potentially be built differently was kind of based upon how the players play in that server was kind of interesting to me. So just wanting to be able to, for me personally with Ashes, I want to kind of explore the world, see what these nodes activate, like how the
Mhm.
world comes up, what's the adventure of it. I think one of the things
Right.
he mentioned in that last live stream was like some people want to get up in for like the PvP, some people want to be able to explore the wonder of the world and all that stuff. So me, it's more so of that
Exploration.
Lord of the Rings exploration adventure, seeing what the world is about, vibing with the people, you know, all that stuff. So
Dude. I mean, honestly, I
seeing
feel
what
like
this world turn out to.
the
Mhm.
adventuring is going to be like a little old school, which is going to be kind of refreshing. I mean, the game is going to be massive. It's It's going to have huge maps, huge areas. Now, hopefully
Right,
we have
right,
a really awesome mount system with like varying speeds, abilities, because it'll make traversing, I think, really, really awesome. I think if they're just static mounts, it's going to feel like, you know, people call New World a walking simulator. Well, they might call
right, right,
Ashes a mount simulator because all you're doing is just mounting
right.
and running all day. You know what I mean? So I feel like there needs to be a different kind of mount
Unless you
system.
unlock a teleport node.
Well, yeah, but that's only going to get you so far because it's only going to teleport you to its neighboring nodes.
Right.
So, I mean, I think this is actually, and especially because it's going to be a sand park, right? So you're going to have theme park and sandbox
Right. It's gonna
elements.
be a
You
main story drive and get in the background, but you can still go off and do whatever you want to do.
Right. So it's going to be a very different experience because I think a lot of people have been so conditioned in the theme park MMO where I don't think we've ever really gotten a kind of true sand park experience where it's
Right.
the meshing of the two. So I think in general, like I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I think you said you played ESO. I don't know if you ever got a chance to see any of the player stalls that ESO has, but that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to for Ashes of Creation.
Shops.
Yes, the shops.
That's something. You play Albion Online? Have you played Albion Online?
Axiom right now, Mike, the guild that I'm in is currently playing Albion, but I don't like it.
Albion Online
It's just not my
you
thing.
didn't like it?
I've never played it.
I
It
thought
just
was a pretty good game.
it doesn't.
Oh, it's a good game.
Dude, it doesn't look like.
It's really
I
good.
don't know. People keep telling me that, dude. And I'm like, you gonna try it,
It's
Vlhadus? And I'm like,
its system is really good because it's one of those. It doesn't. It's definitely more of sandbox, but
right,
as you'll find a path that you'll want. Like it seems kind of daunting where it's like all these spider webs, but you'll find it's easy to follow the path.
right,
You'll find the path that you want to go down. But they have the shops in there. That's why I brought it up because they have shops. And I think Lineage 2 had that, and some other Korean MMOs had shops where people can set up stalls.
right.
You can set up your own shop in the town and do that. But it's good. You should just check it out. It's free. It doesn't hurt. Pop in, play it for a little bit. Don't like it, uninstall it. It's all good.
I always feel with classless systems, this is another reason why I didn't really stick with New World, is because I don't like classless games. I like there's the theme of the class and you evolve the class and you get stronger. Like it's just
it's classless, but it's not classless, right? Like you literally have the option to choose that class along your adventure. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be like, you can start off with the weapons you choose, like in ESO, you pick your weapon at the beginning of before you do all that stuff. So it's kind of like you can do that with that, except you're not just picking class, you're just going down the path of that class. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you'll have like, okay, I want to take this cloth type armor because that's what my class would wear. I'm gonna take these magic items because that's what my class would use. You know what I'm saying? If I was to pick a class, you have that option of going down that path. So it's a little bit different than New World where everybody's just everything, right? You can have different weapon. So you can still swap between weapon parts, but it's still, if you want to just be that, go down that path of that class.
Right.
But another thing with that, because every time I bring up Albion and bring up New World next to it, their systems are. New World could have been like Albion Online, and I think New World would have benefited a lot more if it went down more of that path.
Really?
Of Albion.
Like you're telling me if it went more full loot or just more like there's going to be PvP, like you can't opt out of it. Like
right. No. Oh, so like in Albion Online, there's like there'll be starter zones, and then each zone has its own colors, and as you progress in the color is when it becomes more dangerous. So like that's where like the high risk for high reward. So you go into the red zone, that's where your higher tier materials are, but it's also a full PvP zone. Like you can lose your mount and all that stuff. But if you stay like in like the blue zone or whatever, you can be pretty safe and still like craft and do all this other stuff, or you can go to the yellow zone. But you can go through these different zones, and I felt like if New World did that also, where not necessarily opt out, but you'd have that higher tier area where maybe somebody can hire a mercenary group to go and help them gather some, watch them while they gather up in the high tier areas because they don't want to PvP or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you have those options where you can do that. And how the dungeons kind of appear kind of randomly, because my idea of New World is kind of similar to Ashes Creation, where I'm exploring. And stuff is kind of like popping up around me. Like I don't know it's there. It's just kind of like, oh snap, I came across this cave. You know what I'm saying? So I think it could have went that way as well, but they end up going a little bit more, I guess, safe. How they did that. But I think if it did that, then it would have been in a lot better spot if it went that
Hmm.
route. Because people don't like Albion Online because of how it looks. It still has a mobile version, so they call it the mobile game. So it has some kind of free to play aspects, I guess, to it. So
Right.
you can buy a monthly subscription type thing to it. You don't have to, like, you can still earn everything in game, but it's a little bit faster if you do, you know what I'm saying? Type of thing, progression. So
Right.
that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like that. That's why I thought New World, with a look that people liked more, would be able to capitalize on it.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like a Game Pass kind of thing, right? Where, you kind of unlock a little bit more convenience if you give us more money.
Like Lost Ark.
Yes.
Like Lost Ark's Pass.
Yeah.
The crystalline aura or whatever it's called.
Right. I don't know. Like I might give it a chance. I mean, honestly, I was actually leaning into trying out New World because I really want to make a video on professions and talk about. It's like drop all out.
Hey, look, you see my channel, right?
No, I have
MMO Ronin. I don't have any loyalty to any one game. I've done that already. I'm just playing all of them. Like,
right.
Like jump in and out. It's with subscriptions is why I get confused of why I don't understand why people feel like they have to be locked into a subscription for a game. Like, you can always just not pay that month and play this game over here for a month, come back when that patch comes out. And I know it's a little bit more effort in unsubscribing and then resubscribing, but I just feel like you don't have to be locked into one experience when you have the option to experience it all.
No, for sure.
Like, at some point in time, you're going to catch up with everything in World of Warcraft before the next raid drops.
Oh,
so you just come back before then.
Yes.
And then you go ahead and do all your mat gathering and stuff again right before it drops. That's when all the prices go up. And then you go ahead and jump back into World of Warcraft.
No, for sure. And
have those options.
I feel like I've been actually wanting to do a video on MMO tribalism, because there is huge tribalism when it comes to MMO gamers. Like, when they stick to an MMO, that's their MMO. They won't play other MMOs. They're one game Andes. You know what I mean? Hell, I was a one game Andy. I played WoW. I didn't need to play another MMO. I played WoW. But then
why?
Go ahead.
Why?
Well, all my friends were playing World of Warcraft. Everybody I knew that played an MMO was playing WoW. So why would I go somewhere else when I didn't know anybody or had a friend network that dipped outside of WoW? So I think that was.
Were you curious?
No, I mean there were times I did.
Just like games, you're like, man, I want to try that out for a little bit.
So during WoW's dead moments, right? Because there was plenty of them to go around. Of course, I did play. I played, Star Wars: The Old Republic. I played Final Fantasy 14. I played Lost Ark. I played. I even played, like, I think 20 minutes of New World, like 3 months when it was like pre-purchasing before the game came out. I played it for 20 minutes and I was like, this game is trash. I was like, uninstall. And it was the best decision I ever made, because God, I could not imagine paid $40 for that mess in the beginning. Jesus. But I do want to play it now, because I feel like it has gone to a way better spot than where it was 3 months before it launched. And I really want to try out the professions. But I guess, like, for me, I didn't want to deviate. I was like on course in WoW, and I didn't want to try anything else out. Like, maybe it was because I was scared to. And I think that's where a lot of other MMO players, feel, in a sense, right? Because it's very different whenever you're playing an MMO compared to playing just like a single player game. It's not like you pop in, God of War, and you're afraid to pop in something else other than God of War. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a different mindset.
It's hard to go from playing with people to the idea of, most people, I feel like most MMO players are mostly introverts, right? So if you don't already have like a secure foundation or group of people that you already know, then you probably be kind of hesitant to jump into another group of people that you don't know. And that's one of the reasons why I think if you don't have at least one person that's willing to at least try out something with you, then it makes it a lot harder to try out, another MMO, because now you got to talk to somebody eventually again, and you already have these people that already know you, so you don't got to worry about get to know these new people, or hopefully somebody pick you for this group again, because you already found a group finally that picks you to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I think one of the things that probably broke me away from that mentality is my work schedule, because I didn't have time to play with anybody. I was working at some point in time. I was just like 3:30 to like 2 a.m. So 3 p.m. to 2 p.m. So I couldn't find a server to jump on that anybody was on in my time at any point in time. Like I went to West Coast servers, I was on East Coast servers, and like nobody was online because it was that sweet spot where
Oh,
people were
dude,
like just not
not
online,
online.
not online. So I got used to kind of running around doing stuff by myself at that point. So I think that probably kind of, you know, killed that need to have people there to enjoy an experience.
Right.
Like I want to experience what the game like. I like the world, I like the game, I like adventure movies and sci-fi stories and all this stuff. Then let me see what this new world is like when I jump into it and go from there. Then I don't want to worry about it. But I think that's probably just like a big issue. I don't know.
No, for sure. I think, you know, I think you're kind of right. I mean, especially because a lot of us are pretty introverted, you know what I mean? And I think that whole idea of us going to different spots, you know, on the MMO map and just unknown waters, you know, is a little terrifying, you know what I mean? It's like going to,
especially if you came from especially if you started in Warcraft.
Oh, I know. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? It's like going to your friend's, like you went to your friend's house and your friend was actually going to another friend's house. He's like, oh, just come with me. And then you're like, I don't know that person that we're going to. And then you just get there and there's like all these people there and you're like the one on the wall, like kind of like a wallflower, just being like, I am very uncomfortable.
Okay, because your friend is there. I imagine you go to that friend's friend house by yourself without them there, not knowing if they're gonna show up or not. You're just like
the terror, dude. I'd be like, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. I'm be right back. Just like bolt out the door running. But no, but I mean,
where you at?
Where you at? I'm headed home, dude. I'm going home. Dude, have you seen Long Beach Griffey? Have you ever seen any of his videos?
No. Yeah, I saw a couple of them.
Dude, I just love when he's like, I'm going home. Like that would be me, dude. I'm going home. Okay. But no, I don't know. Like I feel like MMO players now, I think, have been willing to try other MMOs because this weird time period of, you know, I think it was kind of, especially I think what happened to Blizzard, right? I think that made a very huge realization for people, you know, and a lot of people quit Warcraft. And I think they went to Final Fantasy, Guild Wars 2, ESO, Lost Ark. They were just trying out different MMOs because, you know, I think a lot of people were playing World of Warcraft that got sick and tired of Blizzard. And then when Blizzard had all of its allegations happen, that's when they really almost felt like they were being pushed out of the nest. And I do feel like a lot of players ended up going to other spots and probably stuck there. Or now they have another game that they're playing with in conjunction of World of Warcraft.
All right. See, like Stoops and Lost Ark and Preach and Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft.
Right.
Beliar.
Even Quasi. I don't know if you watched Quasi, but he also was
some Quasi stuff.
He was in World of Warcraft and he jumped to Final Fantasy.
A lot of people did it, but a lot of people did it with spite, and a lot of people did it realizing that it's okay to do that.
That's what I mean. It's okay to play something else. You're not loyal. Like no one's gonna like jump down your door and be like, "Why aren't you loyal to the Blizzard brand?"
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. It's like
traitor.
I know. It's like
traitor.
It's like drinking Coca-Cola, afraid to drink any other drink. Right, because I have allegiance to Coca-Cola. I can't have anybody know that I drink Dr. Pepper secretly. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's kind of weird, but at the same time I understand. You know what I mean? And I do feel like we're finally at a place of getting out of that culturally. So
but mentally, are you speaking of tribalism? It seems like everybody's kind of doing it again anyway, so it's not like no, when everybody's jumping over to Ashes of Creation, they don't seem like they want to play anything else because, like you said earlier, Ashes of Creation is going to be your one game that you're going to jump into.
I said MMO tribalism is real, for sure. I am like probably one of the main culprits of the tribalism, but I guess for me, like I've been playing WoW for so long, like I don't mind playing just a single game because here's my thing: I have a family, I'm married, I have kids, I have a full-time job, you know. At the time that I do have, like, yes, could I do it doing multiple games? For sure. But all of the friend network that I've kind of cultured, like, and kind of really diving into the Ashes community, like, I don't want to also get to know a whole other community on top of that. Will I probably try other games out? Absolutely. Like whenever Throne of Liberty comes out, I'll give that game a shot too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I personally just want to dedicate my time to one game and have it be worth the time that I am sinking into it. Other people go into a game where they feel like the time that they're sinking into it is not worth it, you know? And
Right.
and that's why they only play it for so long until they just quit, because they're like, I don't want to do this. I felt like that with Lost Ark. I got up to, what was it, tier 2 item level? It was like, all right, we are back. I am so sorry. My computer literally ran out of space and I had to delete some crap. So sorry. Back to what we were saying. I got up to like tier 2 in Lost Ark, and I saw what the grind was going to be like from tier 2 to tier 3. Not even mention tier 3 to tier 4. And I was like, oh, heck no. I ain't going to go through all that. I ain't going to hone myself to death. Screw that.
That's
Like,
one thing I noticed in that, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the gear part
No.
of it. Just give me some gear. I don't want to guess what I need to put in here.
I really,
Hopefully it works.
no, for sure. And
75%. Nah, it didn't work. Oh.
I really wanted to do the raids. I was like, the raids looked like a lot of fun, but I just felt, me personally, it was not worth it. They look like fun. I didn't want to do it. Like, fine, y'all do that. I will go somewhere else. But I think a lot of times, like, but if the gearing actually felt meaningful, of course I would have done it. I would have put in the time. But you can clearly see that the whole end game of that progression was designed for you to swipe your card. And I think that's
for waste time.
Yeah. Waste your time, which is precious to me, or swipe your card. And I just felt like with that option, I just said F you and I'm out. And I think a lot of people did that, which, I mean, I think the community is still going strong. You know, it was at a peak, I think, of 1.6 million concurrent. Now it's around 400,000, 300,000 with them eliminating all the bots that was going on. So, I mean, it's still relatively like,
it's still a fun game.
It's still a fun game. It's still at a relatively healthy player base. So, you know, you do you know what I mean? But I know for me, I couldn't do it. And with the way Steven Sharif, which is the lead game designer for Ashes of Creation, and the way he talks about the investment and your time, it just seems like the developers are literally trying to make a way for you to spend your time to that feels meaningful without all the pay to win and pay to convenience attached. And that's the kind of game I want. Like, that's why I'm really looking forward to Ashes of Creation in general. So like, what was like the driving force for you to start making Ashes of Creation content?
Just making more people aware about it, I guess. You know, like, I try to talk more about games, I think, in a positive manner. I know I got some videos about Throne of Liberty, and that seem kind of negative, but overall they're positive. I want people to kind of understand that the game wasn't coming out this year. That's all.
Bro, dude, I said that back in the summer. I said, dude, they haven't said a peep about this game. You honestly think it's coming out fourth quarter? We haven't even seen like anything. I was like, I knew it was going to get delayed, but my whole thing with it isn't the fact that it was supposed to come out this year. That's kind of irrelevant to me. The fact is, NCSoft is doing this game. There's going to be pay to win. Like, if you think there's not going to be pay to win in this game, think again, bro. Yeah, like, it's NCSoft. Of course, there's going to be pay to win. Yeah, it's gonna be bad, but I do want to see what the core game has to offer. And I think that's to me, because there's those weird scenarios where the actual endgame progression could actually be good. Maybe the system isn't so much of a grind that many people could put up with it, and the pay to win or pay to convenience is in other things. I sincerely doubt it, but hey, that could happen. You know, it's potential.
Right. There's level 35. Call it now. I already see it in the cards. I already see it.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It is.
It's happened to Ion too. Ion hit level 35 and you start going to that ascended plane or whatever. I was like, it's done. That's when the grind started.
It's always around that time.
But there's some other games coming out. I think there's a lot of games that people don't talk about at all, that I haven't talked about either, because I don't think I talked about like one game called Into the Echo. That's supposed to be like a time travel type MMO. Like a couple earlier this year, but it didn't get like a lot of hits. There's like a lot of small MMOs that's about to drop, I think, Embers Adrift drops this month that nobody really talks about or knows about. Whether they be good or not, I don't know. But Ashes is one of those ones that I followed for like a very long time. And as it got closer to stuff happening and them actually acknowledging content creators and, and all that stuff, then I thought, okay, I made this separate MMO channel. I had a separate gaming channel that got false flagged right when it was picking up steam, and I started saying I'm gonna focus on MMOs. So I ended up getting taken down for a minute. So I was like, all right, I'll just make this MMO channel created for MMOs.
Damn.
And then as I'm just talking about that came back, but was like offline for like 2 or 3 months. So like that lost all momentum that was going on for like all of it. So but like I started the MMO channel, was just doing all right for the few months it's been up. But yeah, so I started it because it was an exciting game, exciting project. I like the passion that the devs have and the roles being communicated with, and they have a whole thing laid out. The wiki is really in depth, so all that information that they have for the game, potentially being able to get our hands on a persistent alpha, hopefully, all that stuff will makes for good content creation, and if it's good, then makes it for better content creation.
Right.
Kind of curious to see what kind of guys are going to be out or can be made from it, especially with different servers being the same. I don't want everybody have the same server because somebody was like, and if everybody goes to this zone and chop down 100 trees, the dragon will appear. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, the way I kind of see it is there's going to be like when you type in for YouTube, you're going to type in, the name of the quest, and then you're going to type in, Ashes of Creation, name of the quest, and then like your server name US, because you're going to want to know, like where, like, how do I do this in our server? Because there could be other servers that aren't even experiencing this content. So it's going to
update the map.
Right.
Updates the automatic update the map. So you log on, it's just automatic update of what's happening or whatever.
Right. It's going to be very, very different comparatively to other games. And I think that's also going to put niches in for certain content creators, because if you're on that server and you're the only content creator on that server, that really does some good stuff for you, because now you're going to have a good, 10 or 15,000 people, if that's what their concurrent player base is going to be, that are always going to want to click on your videos and get to know you very well. You know what I mean? Right. So it's going to be quite cool. I'm really curious to see how that's going to work practically, but we'll have to wait and see. Because if you don't like that content creator, that's really going to suck. I'm sorry.
It won't be. My channel won't just be Ashes of Creation. Like I still be following the Ashes and doing Ashes content, but I gotta stick by Ronin and do all the MMOs.
Yeah.
I can't stay on the other ones. But like, my only concern is with the tribalism, because when somebody else drops it, we see it. I don't know. I saw your video, but since then, more people have seen the other opposing videos, and there's more comments on Josh Strife Hayes' channel about Ashes of Creation, and kind of everybody's kind of like more so, instead of, there's people in the beginning are just like, I think you're confused, you might be a little bit wrong, and now people are just like, oh, I can't believe you. No, you can't trust this idiot. You know what I'm saying? After the more hardcore fans have jumped in,
right?
I feel like that's more of an issue, unless people can be more like level-headed about it and not bring down one to raise up another. If they can just be happy about their game and not be concerned about another game, or
right.
I don't know.
It's
just I feel like that's the only issue with that, with the content creators, is that you're going to have that trickling down and attacking mentality, I guess.
No, for sure. I mean, and again, like I wasn't trying to attack Josh at all.
Oh yeah, no, not you. I was talking about you. I was talking about.
No, I know what you mean. It's just I just feel, because it's a little irresponsible for him to be as big as he is, and didn't even preface like anything. He didn't say, "Hey guys, I haven't really researched Ashes. I haven't watched any recent live streams, so just take my opinion, in a grain of salt, or just take it for what it is." You know what I mean? And it would have been fine. You know what I mean? It still would have been kind of a bad take on Ashes, but hey, it's his opinion. You can't take it away from the guy. It's what he feels. But I mean, the way he just talked about it, like if he knew what he was talking about, and I think, because I don't follow Pantheon, like I don't follow the monthly updates or anything at all.
Pantheon, I was like, man, this is ugly.
No, dude, bro, and I know people watch my videos. I know people watch my videos and they're super Pantheon people. I don't know what you see in that game. Like, I don't know if it's the nostalgia of EverQuest or something that really thinks that's like, it's not the look of it, you know, because people like look at Minecraft looks
Oh no, yeah,
terrible,
yeah,
right? But I mean, it's a really fun and engaging game. Pantheon could be that. I just don't like it aesthetically. It just, and again,
yeah,
like,
right. Like the way it moves and everything.
yeah,
It's like,
it just it looks very 1999 to me. And maybe that was the look they were going for. Maybe it was to cause that a little bit of nostalgia for, you know, those EverQuest people. But
runes of magic.
yeah, but I just know for me, like watching it, I never correlated Pantheon with Ashes because I don't watch any of Pantheon stuff. But when, you know, Narc's video broke it down, I was like, this is like even worse, because now Josh could have been literally talking about Pantheon the whole time and saying Ashes of Creation. But now we'll never know. And he probably won't even come out with the video explaining himself or even saying I'm sorry or anything. He, like I said, he doesn't even run that channel. The Josh Strife Says channel is run by someone completely different.
Right.
So
that's an issue with most general MMO channels though, when they become that authority, no matter what they did beforehand. However, they get to the point where now all of a sudden they're the authority on all MMOs. They all speak with this like, listen to me because I play MMOs, you know, mentality.
Right. It's true.
And they all say some weird stuff, you know. Peon had the issue with Final Fantasy 14,
initially.
where he
Oh
ended up
yes,
taking that video down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because he says some stuff that was like, what are you talking about? And there's a couple other videos where Josh has said some stuff where it's like, what are you talking about, for involving other MMOs?
Right.
Asmongold has said some stuff, even though he eventually sometimes qualifies it with, well, I haven't seen a lot about the game, but you know, at least he says that part of it. But
Right.
he still speaks as if, you know,
he knows about
of
it.
all MMOs.
Yeah.
But he just plays World of Warcraft and touches some other MMOs, but he's all MMOs. He's the authority now because, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And I think
so
that's,
most people have that mentality, which is, this is odd. This is dangerous for building good communities.
No, for sure. I mean, and I think again, it's just, I was more looking at, because I know the Ashes people were going to be fine listening to that. I was just more about those casuals that aren't looking at Ashes of Creation every single day or even every single month. They're going to look at Josh and be like, oh dang, like, is Ashes in trouble? Like, should I be worried about this?
Right,
like, because just the way he talked about it. And again, if you look at the like to dislike ratio, at least when I saw that video, when it was like at 30,000 views, like it was super positively liked. And even the comments about it were very positive. So it just felt a little irresponsible. But either way, I mean, I guess to kind of close off, you know, our conversation a bit, what systems are you probably looking forward to Ashes like the most? Like what, I mean, because I know people say the node system, there's some people say the PvP, there's others that are really gung-ho about the naval because they never experienced that before. Like out of all of those systems, like which ones do you think you're most excited to actually test or just to do in general?
It's probably the node and professions, I think, before how those work. The general, because I want to say the professions and a whole as a craft, the general world building system, because it's not just like, you know, professions like that actually goes towards building up the town when you bring back supplies and all that stuff. So seeing how that all comes together, how the worlds pop up, the storyline, what's the mystery behind these little drops that he's giving us, who's the person in the desert, who's the, you know what I'm saying? What's going on with this giant lizard skull on the mountain? So, story behind these. So all that stuff, just the world itself, I guess. The overall lore behind the world.
I really hope, and I don't know, maybe this is just a little bit of copium, but I really want to get into the professions for a whole live stream. I think getting in deep with the profession, like just one profession and just going deep in it, seeing what a talent tree looks like, seeing all the different crafts that you can make for that particular profession. I really just want to see how in depth is this profession system going to be. That to me personally is what I'm looking forward to a lot, along with the caravan system.
I don't know how I feel about the caravan system. It seems those systems I'm not very familiar with, the caravan and the naval system, as far as like just experiencing them in other games either. So I'm not really sure what to expect from those. It sounds kind of interesting, you know, being able to just kind of zoom out and then just place your place over there. The whole system of how getting your caravan around seems interesting. Being able to build it and stuff like that. But I think, yeah, I'm not too familiar with it, with how it will work. I can't picture it in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So,
No, it's good, man.
like you mentioned, you mentioned professions. You can kind of see yourself, mining. You know what mining looks like. What I'm saying, I can't see how the caravan system works because I've never experienced a caravan system. Did you see Log Horizon?
Oh my God.
The
I
anime?
saw the first 12 episodes and I had not picked it up since, but it is really good. I got to go back. It's been on my continue watching, but I've just been distracted by like My Hero, Overlord, like all these other animes
There's a lot of good anime this year.
Oh, dude, it's insane. But no, I did love that one. It reminds me of like Sword Art Online, but it's like a more of
a little more serious.
More serious. Yeah. No, I liked it though. It's good. I just haven't finished it.
Yeah, I gotta go back and catch up on some stuff too because I was reading up and I'm like, wow, I did one of those things where I was kind of, where are they at now? And I looked at it, I was like, okay, I have to go back and watch the season now because that looks pretty cool.
Right.
See what's going on here. But you remember that part where they put out this rare whistle to call it Griffin's Down?
Oh yeah.
Where it was like, it's like only like certain parties cleared the raid to get the whistle.
Right.
And the main character, I guess he wasn't part of the party or whatever. I want to have one of those experiences in Ashes of Creation where, they have flying mouse and there's like supposed to be other ways besides, owning a guild or being the mayor or whatever.
Right.
That'd be kind of cool to be able to go out and find a dungeon with a small group of people and be able to be like some hard content that you can do,
Yes.
You'd be known on the server as that group that cleared that with only 5 people or whatever and got the, what I'm saying? That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things I kind of look forward to. I hope it's in Ashes. That's my hope for Ashes of Creation. So there'll be moments like that where you can take a small group of people, small ragtag team of 5, use your skills and take them out.
No, yeah. I think there's going to be, hopefully, there's going to be those kinds of things in Ashes that makes you feel good that you have and other people don't. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's the thing where even when it comes to professions, if a person can make something first in their profession and start selling it, and then they start having the tag created by so-and-so, like, oh my God, like, where did you get that? Oh, it's this person? Like, I've never seen him on the server. Like, where is he? Where can I find him? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to start getting around to as well, especially when it comes to professions. But
you have to get past the ogres, the frost ogres in the
but dude, Ronin, thank you so much, man, for coming on and just having this talk and just being able to talk Ashes and just MMOs in general, man. I really enjoyed our conversation, and thank you so much for just being patient with the interruptions. Jesus, I'm so sorry.
Thanks for having me. Sorry to you and anybody listening about the any rambling I did on here.
Oh, dude, that's why they
like some thought trains. So
that's why they click on these so they can hear you rambling. That's what they want to know, man. Because I mean, again, I think especially
what was that guy talking about? What is he on about?
It's like, what is this? No, but I just feel like that's what the whole 1v1 is for, is to kind of give your thoughts in a long form format for the people that enjoy this kind of format. There's people who really enjoy the 5 to 6, 8-minute videos, and there's people that really like a content creator, but they want to just kind of get to know them in a chill, relaxing manner. And I hope that that's what I'm doing. I hope this is the kind of atmosphere that I'm providing for those people. So I really appreciate you just coming on and having a chat.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And
I appreciate it.
And if you want to see Ronin and more of his MMO takes, it'll be in the bottom of the description. You go to his YouTube channel, check him out, the MMO Ronin. And are you on Twitter as well? I believe you are.
I am, but it's a different name.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, YouTube.
It's there. I'm there, but don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
On YouTube.
But go down to YouTube, leave some comments in his videos, check him out. He has good content. So again, my name is Vlhadus. It's for Vlhadus Gaming for 1v1. That is the MMO Ronin, and we will see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.